So behind me here you see a fire in a 58-unit condominium building that was under construction. So the fire was reported just after 11 o'clock this morning, and it was reported as heavy smoke and flames in the air on the time they called it in. So this building was almost fully involved by the time firefighters got on scene. So we have about 35 firefighters fighting the fire here right now. Our major concern when we got here was to protect the surrounding neighborhood. The radiant heat from this fire was intense, and it was starting to make buildings in the area smoke a little bit. And so our first action was to put water on the surrounding neighborhood and then attack the fire here in this building.
And you've been able to keep it from spreading?
Yes, we were able to keep it from spreading, and one factor that's helping us today is the fact that the winds are light. So all that intense heat and smoke is going straight up in the air. That's helping us out tremendously today.
How about in terms of any workers on site? Are you looking for people? Are there any reported injuries?
We've had an inventory of all the workers that were here. We've talked to supervisors. All are accounted for, but there was one injury, one injured worker trying to escape the scene. I believe it's not related to smoke or flame involved, but mostly just trying to escape the scene. So that person was transported to the hospital, and we await word on that person's condition.
Any preliminary information that can tell you maybe a possible cause?
No, we don't know the cause just yet. There's so much fire when we got here. So our fire marshal's office is here. Personnel from our fire marshal's office is here to start the investigation, and we'll start looking for the origin of fire and then interview people on scene to try to get the exact cause of the fire.
What kind of timetable is that?
That might take most of the rest of the day today if we get a preliminary area. We should get the area of origin before we get the cause.
Okay, we'll get an update from you later. Thank you, Chief.
Certainly. Bill Kelly, B-I-L-L, last name Kelly, K-E-L-L-Y, and I'm the fire chief here in Santa Clara. Okay? Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
All right, everybody, you just heard from the fire chief there in Santa Clara. It was a condominium complex under construction there, so likely a big loss to the owner there, who was probably either going to be renting those out or selling them. But I do have the top stories ready to go for you, 4 in a row here. I believe everything is good to go, ready to go this Friday afternoon. First, let's take a look at how the Dominican Republic tourism is doing after all these tourist deaths that we keep hearing about.
People still going on vacation to the Caribbean, but not so much to the Dominican Republic in light of the so far unexplained deaths there. Take a look at these numbers on bookings for June. To the Dominican Republic, down 75%. Gaining the Bahamas, Aruba, and Jamaica, where bookings are all up. Canceled travel so far this month to the Dominican Republic, up 51%. We talked to some travelers headed for the Dominican Republic today from O'Hare Airport who are going, but don't seem that happy about it.
Some people are having second thoughts. Did you have any second thoughts?
I mean, yeah, but our trip is non-refundable, so that's how that goes. I am concerned, and what I'm doing is just taking measures to make sure that I'm safe. We brought our own alcohol.
Why not just say, you know, the heck with the money?
No, I can't. It was like $1,800, boo.
As we said, so far no real explanation for these deaths in the Dominican Republic, either there or folks that have come back to the U.S. and passed away here, and no real end in sight to this. Take a look at this quote from folks at a travel research company. We are seeing a further erosion of bookings and no immediate sign of recovery. So I hope the authorities are successful in providing explanations that will convince the American people. At O'Hare Airport in Chicago, I'm Jeff Flock with the Fox Business Network.
Question time. You know I like to ask you all questions and get to know you just a little bit better. Let's see a thumbs up emoji if you've ever been to Chicago O'Hare. I have. I love to travel. I have a best friend who lives about an hour west of Chicago without traffic. A little bit longer to get to her house with traffic, but public transportation like trains and subways and the like make it a little bit easier to get to her place out there. But love to travel, definitely been to Chicago O'Hare, but I couldn't imagine being ready to go on vacation and kind of like weary about it and not too excited about it, like those travelers headed to the Dominican Republic. All right, we're gonna head all the way over now east to New York, where the police commissioner is declaring a mental health crisis after what's believed to be the 4th officer suicide this year. Let's take a look.
With 4 suicides of NYPD officers in just 20 days, there is a recognition that more officers take their own lives than are killed in the line of duty. Experts say if something isn't done to change the current course, we may be in for a terrible year.
and I want to reach out to my cops. I want to know, listen, the men and women in blue are so willing to run out there and save someone else's life. They need to be able to take some time and save their own.
Many cite the pressures on officers to always appear the hero, that heroes don't need help, or of the stigma if they ask for help or reveal they're struggling mentally, whether they'll be stripped of their gun and in some way their dignity. Psychiatrist Frank Dowling from the organization PAPA, which provides outside assistance, says they successfully help hundreds of NYPD officers each year get back on track, but that they have to clear the first hurdle themselves.
The important thing that gets missing is for the rank and file to believe when they're hurting that one is that they can get help and that it won't hurt their career, and then two is that help will work.
As for the NYPD, they say they are committed to taking major steps to get officers more comfortable with coming forward, even re-examining the department's policy on when an officer should get his gun and assignment back.
And as an agency, as a police department, we have to get better. We have to change some of our policies when it comes to people who do come forward for help, to make sure that once they're well, that we get them back out on the streets doing the job that they love.
Very sad situation out there with the New York Police Department. All right, it was just yesterday our very own Nicole Garcia here at Fox 10 reported on a Valley man who crashed an e-scooter while vacationing in San Diego and unfortunately lost his life. Well, now this next top story on News Now is taking a look at e-scooter safety.
Love them or hate them, electric scooters are everywhere, from Phoenix to Miami and in the Deep South. They're zipping across the nation, along the way winning over fans.
I would give them an A, definitely an A, because they are very reliable.
And gaining some not-so-happy enemies.
A C. People just ditch them or they just kind of misuse them, and so they kind of get in the way a little bit.
They've been called revolutionary by some.
It's like back to the future, you know, so.
And unsafe by others.
It's dangerous. A lot of people do bust their face and stuff open on the scooter.
Graham, a West Baltimore artist, says scooters are an easy way to get from point A to point B.
Check one of the 4 apps that we've got, and I look at where the closest scooter is. So I'll walk over there, grab it, and take it where I need to go.
Baltimore started a scooter program last year, and the city's Department of Transportation says it now provides 45,000 rides a week.
Our goal was that it would increase access and it would provide more sustainable, active transportation options for people.
Roughly 180 cities have adopted e-scooter programs, but a recent death in Nashville prompted an immediate ban. And now other cities are taking a hard look at safety concerns. Baltimore riders praise them as affordable, eco-friendly, and easy to use. Complaints focus on availability, hazards, and vandalism. Graham says for him, there's no debate. It's either 2 wheels or no wheels.
A lot of Baltimoreans do not have access to cars, and this is a fair way to provide access.
As the pilot comes to an end here in Baltimore, e-scooters are here to stay. And up the road in New York City and in Philadelphia, they're gearing up to add a fleet of their own with similar programs. In Baltimore, Talia Kirkland, Fox News.
I have never been on an e-scooter. Let us know on the YouTube chat if you ever have. I remember the manual ones back in the day, whether it was with regular wheels or those like, what were they? Were they rubberized or like plastic wheels? They were clear where you had to manually push yourself. And then I remember wanting a GoPet when I was a teenager too, but I never got one of those. So again, I don't really know, but I do know they can top pretty high speeds, around 25 miles per hour. So safety first, please. Try to wear a helmet when you can and just be smart and cognizant of other people and things around you when you are riding those things. We do not want to hear of any more injuries or deaths as a result of e-scooters. All right, we're going to wrap up this little top story segment with some business briefs from Fox Business Network.
Another setback for Boeing. The company says the troubled 737 MAX fleet is expected to stay grounded until late this year, longer than expected. This after regulators discovered a new software problem with the jet. The delay is expected to prompt additional disruptions to airline schedules around the world. Apple's design chief is leaving to form his own company. Johnny Ive has been a major design force behind products such as the original iMac, the iPod, the iPhone, the iPad, even Apple's new spaceship campus. He was knighted at Buckingham Palace in 2012 for services to design and enterprise. In other Apple news, the company is recalling some of its MacBook Pro laptops. More than 400,000 15-inch MacBook Pros have batteries that could overheat and cause a fire. There have been about 24 reports of problems with these batteries. Apple is offering to repair the laptops for free. For more, log on to foxbusiness.com. In New York, I'm Jackie DeAngelis.
Condemns this type of activity and will do all within our power to hold folks accountable.